So we're doing book three. Make it an easy episode.
All right, book three it is.
Welcome to Roundtable Talks. This is book three of. So we didn't even mention the author, Ian Tregillis's Milkweed series. Book
Yeah, we
three.
did
I
not.
forgot the name. I think it's I remember
Book
that.
three. Okay, book two was the coldest war.
Very evil as
Book
well.
one was book one was bitter seeds.
Necessary evil. Okay.
Necessary evil is book three.
All right. So here we are.
We did it.
Uh, Ian Tregillis,
Actually,
you
you
did
know
a good
something?
job, by the way. Just want to say that.
Yeah, he did. You know something? The titles actually kind of. We should have used the titles as a guiding thing for when we talked about each episode, because like coldest war was literally about the war. Book one was like the setup for
Mm-hmm.
book two,
Yeah.
and then book three, Necessary Evil. Literally, the title. He
Yeah.
like said that like phrase, Necessary Evil, like several times throughout the story.
And
So
it's like so the book opens up with the world ending, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and they gotta
yep,
figure out what to do. Well, they know what to do. It's like, will it work? And that's where Gretel says the thing I said in the last book, where she says that all her futures are connected and all her pasts are connected. So even if she doesn't exist anymore in this one, she'll exist in the other one as it's basically the same person, which is it makes her power seem pretty OP. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. That's why if y'all watch the last episode that we did, I ranked her as my number one as top 10 power,
Yeah,
just because like stuff like this, like to be fair, like her power is kind of like unfair. It doesn't seem like fun. Well, not
yeah,
not
yeah.
fun, but it doesn't seem like it should be allowed.
Yeah.
But it's actually very OP. So it kind of sucks that she's the one who got it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
kind of feel it's kind of good that she's the one who got it also.
Mm,
The rest of the world would have ended, I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure.
Probably. But I mean, the world ending was the motivation. So I think if anybody had it, it'd probably be the same motivation to make everything happen the same way to get there.
True. Plus, to be fair, she wanted to be the god of the world.
Yeah.
So her motivation was very selfish.
And extremely selfish.
Yeah, as most people's motivations are.
Self preservation is a good driving factor, though.
Yeah. Um, so opens up with them going back in time. I mean, with them trying to go back in time. They borrowed the idea of, hey, in the book two, they talked about, well, we can travel from one location to the next, even though, again, I still don't know. That's a loophole in the book to me.
Yeah.
How does the Eidolon, or what they called, I
Enough
think it's Eidolon.
idolence.
Yeah, how do the Eidolons know the location if they can't map the world? But
Mm-hmm.
whatever, that's a loophole, I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but the mapping through none of this is going through is a waste.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
I left a
on.
voice note. What you
Everything
say, bro?
everything is going good on my end, but it just freezing you for some reason.
Dang, I don't know. Let me see if I'll just close everything on my side and see if that helps.
Internet seems to be
Uh,
good.
I'm gonna close every single thing.
My internet is going good.
All right, hopefully that helps. I closed everything except for Discord.
Same over here. Alright, most of my stuff is closed. CPU is still kind of high. I don't know why. Streamlabs. Alright, let's see what happens.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I don't know what you last caught, but even though the loophole of traveling to different locations didn't make sense to me,
Yeah.
traveling through time made sense to me because at least they had the blood map from one location in time and the other location in time. So that made sense.
Yeah.
But they did get the idea from that previous time. They were like, hey, if we could have traveled through space, why not through time? The Eidolons exist outside of time, so it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
And then that's what they decided to do.
Yeah. So Marsh goes back in time. Do you remember Gretel was a different past? So never mind. Because Gretel noticed that he was there when
She
he
did know
first
he
came.
was there. She knew from when he was on the site, like when she was making her escape.
Yeah.
She knew from there. I think she must
Yeah.
have seen it in the future, like how she was gonna escape and meet him or
Yeah.
something like that. So she already had everything planned out. How she gonna say?
Mm.
Because Gretel is a very manipulative person.
Yeah.
So she's like, if I say this specific thing this way, he gonna smack me. So I have to
Oh
say it this
yeah.
way.
She
He gonna
was
at
like
least,
running through the plans in her head. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You ever watch Premium Rush? I think I asked you this
nah,
before. So when he's a courier, I watched it like last week. He's a courier that is really good at his job. But like in a tight situation, he maps every path that could possibly happen. So if you go this way, hit by a car. Go this way, run over a baby in a carriage. So you have to like maneuver this way and that way to get to where you're going.
geez.
Yeah, in a split second.
Kind of
Right.
remind me of Limitless.
Kinda. But Limitless is
Yeah,
kinda OP like Gretel.
yeah. So it's called what? What's the name of the show or movie?
Premium Rush is a movie.
Okay, I gonna watch it. Cool.
Um
You know how people remember, like, know, like, the name of the director, the name of all the actors, and like
yeah.
everything in the show? I could never do that.
It depends for me. If I'm interested, I actually go and look afterwards and make like a mental connection. But like otherwise it's like
Yeah,
I don't know who these people are.
yeah. I like today I was watching another podcast that you shared with me. No free publicity. Even though
You
we love
wild.
them,
You wild.
even though we love them. Um, and one of the guys, the one who looks more like me,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
was just like rattling off names of people in this show. And I was like, how does he know all these people's names?
You
Like,
probably
and
know
he's
them
like,
from
and this
before.
person is friends with that person. Like, how
Yeah,
does he know
yeah.
that they're friends?
You probably follows them like outside of movies, like in social media and stuff like that.
Jeez, dude, I don't follow. I follow people in social media, but I
You go again.
is out there, even though I just try to be positive. That's all.
Well, let's see if things go right. This
All right.
where were we?
So we were kind of off topic, but I think this podcast, like today, as much as I talking about the book, I kind of want to just like shoot the breeze a little bit. Um, anyway, so they went back in time. Uh, we were talking about Gretel being manipulative and how like she does say certain things because she wants specific reactions. You told me about Premium Rush, and then we talked a little bit about Limitless. But I think this author did a decent job.
Yeah.
But I feel like he kind of wrote something that was kind of like weird, which is like she had this fuzzy thing that she can't see past.
Mm.
It's like he was like, I can't figure out a way to like limit her so that she doesn't just like like
Oh,
because
yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
Marsh would never be able to work around her, like no matter what he did.
yeah.
So the author had to put some kind of way to limit her, and I think that's how he decided to do it.
Well, she only limited in this book, right? That we know of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in this last book, yeah.
So I don't know how long we have, but we went back in time. Oh, before we start, I was thinking this is the book where we see Marsh's like we know he's not in the middle. He's not like perfectly good, but like this book showed us like his dark side because he didn't care about literally any consequence that he needs to do. He would do it, necessary evil, because he just wanted to get his objective.
Yep. But that's the part of the problem because in book two, that same mentality is what caused the end of the earth.
Basically, yeah.
Um, but I wonder if he learned it from his mentor because his mentor is the same way. He
Old.
was like, I don't care what the cost is. We're gonna use the warlocks. I don't care about the blood price.
Yeah.
So I
His
feel like that.
his was like a nationalism kind of thing. He was just trying to protect his nation at all costs.
Yeah. So when he go back in time, his um his goal was basically to save his daughter. That's his number one like priority.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he was kind of like trying to destroy the warlocks and destroy the studies
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the I don't know what to call it, the human engineering
Oh,
project.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, he was. I think I agreed with him, which was like, I'm not gonna destroy the warlocks before I destroy your stuff.
Yeah, yeah. You
Definitely
never
agree
you
with that.
never know what you need.
Yeah,
But technically it wasn't really him.
technically
Cause
it was younger Marsh.
yeah, cause he was too old to do anything at that point.
No, he would not. He would have looked. He would have get catch like 2 seconds in.
Yeah.
He already got catch 2 seconds into the book.
He did. Cause he didn't think ahead of like what he was doing. Like the plan was it was so like quick. He didn't have time to
Hmm.
think. And on the fly in that situation, it could have worked if the ID was the same.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you rush in, is like you make decisions and you don't realize like
Yeah.
this isn't like the optimal way to do it.
Yep.
And then the saying hindsight is 2020, so it's like too late now.
I feel like in this past as well, we won't jump all over the place because we just
Yeah,
going through.
yeah.
Um, we talk about Marsh, his dark side. His younger self didn't really have a dark side. He was just like he was being used as a pawn basically. So it was just basically Marsh.
Hmm.
But Klaus was more evil in this past, I guess.
He didn't get to experience the freedom that he
Yeah.
experienced,
True.
so
True.
he
True.
stayed a nationalist basically.
Yeah.
And his sister was gone. What? She was gone, right? Like she was captured or something, and only him and Reinhardt were left fighting. But this was like
It's like after.
past a lot of stuff. This a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
stuff happened before that happened.
This is like when they get captured. They went back. Then they left again.
Yeah,
He didn't have her. He was trying to find her and get back to her basically.
yeah,
Haika is not dead in the past, and she is a beast.
yeah.
Oh
Which
my
is
gosh.
I was kind of happy, but also kind of like,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Haika was kicking his butt too in that one scene
yeah.
when he was trying to destroy the stuff, and him and the same guy we forgot the name of the last time.
Reinhardt. Oh, Kamler. His name is Kamler.
Kamler, yeah. Him and Kamler became good friends,
Yeah.
which was kind of good because Kamler is the second OP person.
Yes, for sure.
Um, he used Kamler boy. That's when I saw kind of a dark side, but he wasn't really dark because he still cared about
Necessary
Kamler.
evil. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like
yeah.
I don't want to, but I have to.
Yeah, he was sad when he passed. So I mean, that says a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I felt sorry for Kamler because it's like he,
Marsh.
yeah, as an only other
That
person,
part touched my heartstrings, man.
dude. Yo. Oh, yeah. Haika kicking his butt was a pretty cool scene.
I think my favorite scene was the right before Klaus died, like the whole like battle scenario thing with the warlocks and all that. I like that.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was cool. And how he died was also kind of cool in a way. Like,
Yeah, cause we always talked about it.
yeah. I want to know what that must have felt like. Like, was it instantaneous death, so he felt nothing,
Probably,
or did he feel it? You know what I mean?
or maybe like he felt it as it progressed. Cause I don't think his body instantaneously comes back. Maybe I don't know. You know what I mean? Like his legs start
Yeah.
coming back first, and it goes up his body. He can just feel like everything solidifying.
Yeah. So for the audience who didn't read the book, and who don't care about spoilers, because this is not a spoiler-free show. So there was basically at one point in the story, they basically did the same thing where they teleported, right? And so they were going to basically try and use the Pixies. They had a weaker version of it because they didn't have the
Didn't
same
have the
technology. He already
time.
destroyed it,
Yeah.
and they had a weaker version of the Pixies. And what they wanted to do was basically let off the Pixie to prevent them from using the powers. And Klaus, so when Klaus turns um, intangible, he can't breathe. But what he was doing was going inside a rock and allowing himself to like avoid issues. And while he was in there, he had a tube that he was breathing through, which I don't think that made sense.
Why?
Maybe they had the hollowed out area inside there because he can't breathe when he's
You know.
intangible. So if he's in the rock, he
Yeah.
can't breathe through the tube. But he did have a tube to breathe through, so I think they had to have hollow out the rock so he could come back solid to breathe through the tube. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that could make sense. Otherwise, it was like that. That's kind of like breaking the story thing that y'all
Yeah.
set up. Unless, of course, he trained himself to like learn how to breathe well, and
It's probably that.
hopefully, because then I'll be like another loophole.
Yeah.
See, found another one.
I feel like this book had a lot of karma in it.
Mm.
'Cause I feel like if they had the Pixies they had from book 1 or 2, it'd have been an easier fight. But obviously, good writing because he destroyed the batteries, right? He
Yeah,
destroyed
he
s-
destroyed.
he destroyed the batteries, so they couldn't study them to make the Pixies at to their full potential. So now, when you need to be in the full potential, it's weak. So now you gotta work harder.
Yeah. So anyway, basically, Klaus would go into the rock, come back out when he. I think there was batteries in there too, because he would come back out like recharged, wasn't he?
Unsure.
Well, whatever the case is, Klaus would go into the rock, dip out, dip in, dip out, dip in, and they couldn't attack him while he was in there. So he was just using it to his advantage to like pick people off and then like escape. Um, and I think what happened was one, they threw a phosphorus bomb near the breathing tube, which he kind of did in the previous time,
Yep.
but with a different kind of scenario. And then somehow a pixie, I really remember like how the pixie was able to destroy his battery while he was in the rock, though. That's the only thing I don't remember.
Doesn't it go through everything like an EMP?
Oh, it is an AMP, yeah.
Yeah. It
I
just
think that's,
wipes out the
yes, that's what
battery.
happened. Dang. So he was basically in the middle of using his battery to come back out the rock, and they just shoot it just at that time, and boom, he just
Yeah.
destroyed his battery, and he solidified. He merged with the rock, basically.
Basically,
I
yeah.
think only like half of his body was out, or something like that. Like only his
Yeah.
face or
Like a
something.
piece of his face you can see coming out of it.
Yeah, and the rest of him just solidified part of the rock. So
I just thought about something. Like Kindred was the first book that we did, and that had
mm,
a show, which I haven't watched yet. I feel like this would make
yeah.
a good movie or series,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
even if it's like a animated one. It would make a good series or a movie.
I honestly feel like a lot of stories from these books, like the books I share with you, would make
Yeah.
good movies.
I wonder like how you'd get that to sell it
Direct to
across.
TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the part of the problem is that you can't ever be like directly translated from the book. I mean, I think you can, but people don't seem to want to put in the time to make sure that they do that.
But I mean, like, how would you pitch it so that it's at least talked about, like at least getting on somebody's desk or something? You know what I mean?
I think you gotta force them to read it. Just hold them by the scruff of the neck and like read the book. Trust me, you're gonna want to make a movie
Oh
when you finish.
man, yeah. I feel like it'll be good. The action, the war scenes, it'll be good.
Hmm. I think even the Kindred movie the TV show or whatever it is probably really good.
Yeah,
Part of the problem for me is that I can't watch it is the
triggering.
book was triggering,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
watching it going to be even worse. So
yeah.
I kind of like avoiding it for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to watch it to support,
Yeah, yeah,
but then the next thing is I don't know who is getting the money from me supporting it, so maybe I don't need to.
yeah. Okay, okay. Let's see. Went back in time. Will is still Will, still doing his thing. Oh, so Marsh does prevent his daughter from dying the way she died in book one, to
Yeah,
Gretel's dismay, because she don't know how he did it, how it's possible that she survived.
yeah.
And
She predicted it to happen again. She made it happen again, basically,
uh,
but this time
yeah, and that's
her future didn't come true.
that's like the first crumble in like the person that is Gretel.
Yep. 'Cause she's so sure of herself. I mean,
Yeah,
she had no reason not to be, except
that's
for the fact that she had the cloud that she couldn't see past.
that made her start to go a little bit crazy when that happened.
She was already crazy. What are you
But you know,
talking
like
about?
a little bit more obsessive with controlling the future, flipping the coin and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cause she didn't like Liv at all at that point. Cause it's like it has to be her. It has to be her fault.
Yeah.
Became obsessed with her.
Also, in book three, they did a lot of explaining how people got their powers.
Yeah,
They talked about, actually, I think in book two, they talked about it a little bit too, like the contraptions that were used. Like, for example, with Haika, I think it was like a bunch of mirrors or something
yeah.
around, and she had to somehow escape it by doing something. And then for um, Cameler, it was a bunch of spiky stuff
Mm,
jutting in, and
yeah.
then like a handles out of his reach that he had to pull in order to open the escape latch or whatever for the thing. But he obviously couldn't reach for it without like cutting himself up.
Yep.
So he had to like manifest a power to like be able to do it without using his
Yeah.
body. And then Klaus was just in like a compression box that would squeeze him, like just enough pressure so that he feels suffocated, but like not too much so that he gets hurt. And then Gretel was just being tortured until she got her powers. I don't even. Hers was
Yeah.
really a mistake. I don't really. Oh, and Reinhardt was he was locked in like a freezer basically. So all of them were locked in a thing that was like the opposite of what their power manifested, pretty much.
Gotcha. Cool. I feel like this book had a lot of, to me, a lot of fluff. It only felt good when young Marsh was doing his thing because old Marsh was trying to seduce his wife, which is like trippy, you know? Like,
Yeah, it's like, is it actually cheating if
yeah,
it's her husband, but from the future? And I mean, on her end, it is cheating because she doesn't
yeah,
know that.
definitely. Yeah,
But on his end, I felt like he felt guilty a lot. Like he didn't, he could have really do what he had to do, but he was like holding back a
yeah,
lot.
because
I have
that's
respect for that.
because it's like it's yourself.
Yeah, and it's your wife. Like you,
You're making
that's your
your
wife.
wife cheat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt kind of bad for him. Like on one hand, I was like, dude,
Yeah,
just do it. That's your wife. But then on the other hand, I was like, but she
yeah,
doesn't know that that's you,
yeah.
and young Mark don't know that that's him. And I don't think even if he did know, he would be okay with it.
But he does tell Will eventually to get him to help him.
I thought Will figured it out on his
Oh,
own.
the that's how young Marsh found out, right? With the jaw thing.
Yeah, the young Mark figured out from the cracking. He always cracking his knuckles against his chin,
Yeah,
his jaw. I feel like Liv kind of figured it out too at some
a
point.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, he did some like he kept doing stuff that people just like, kind
fix.
of weird that
Yeah,
he and Marsh kind of do the same things.
crazy.
I think Will saw that like coil, like that thing that he always talking about, like it
The
always looked like
spring.
yeah, Marsh is like a coiled spring. I think he saw that in the old Marsh, and he was like he started connecting the dots. And then when he like confronted him, he just like admitted it basically. And I think he was kind of relieved as well because he had somebody who finally knew that he was Marsh. Because I feel like he felt kind of lonely because he was just like hiding out in this like abandoned like building by himself. Like,
Yeah,
dang.
and like, well, in the end, obviously they saved the world. It's like, where does he end up? What does he do? Where does he go? You know, like he has no, he has a family, but it's technically not his family. So he had to leave.
Yeah, I guess he just like lurking around, like keep an eye on them or something. Like
He
he's
went
like
to
the
a whole
ultimate
different
spy.
country.
Did he?
Yeah, remember he gave him a package with like a passports and money and stuff like that to
I
leave.
thought at the very end of the book, he was like looking at Marsh's son and daughter, and he was talking to them and stuff.
Yeah, he did.
And I think the son was like very inquisitive and kind of reminded him of like himself.
Yeah,
And he was like, I think he was like kind of feeling like melancholy because that would have been how his son would have turned out if he didn't get taken over by the Eidolons.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he kind of felt a little bit of happiness and sadness about that.
Do you think that like what's your dangers when you think of time travel?
Um, well, we had a conversation about this before, and I went really deep, and I was really like down the rabbit hole on it. But I think if I was to just use movie magic version of it,
Yeah,
the only dangers would be like feeling like what I'm doing was kind of pointless. Like let's say I go back in time,
yeah,
I can't change my timeline. I just created a new timeline.
yeah.
So this new timeline does nothing for me, really. Like
But
it
then
doesn't really do anything for me.
it depends, cause certain movies and shows they have like a continuous like if you go back in time, you can come back to right before you left, and whatever you change changes for you still.
Yeah, but I say like I believe in the alternate timeline branches
Yeah.
thing more than like you change something in the past and
We were going
when
so
you
good.
change the past.
Yeah.
Oh, I froze again, didn't I?
Yeah. Am I frozen?
Dang. I was saying that I believe in the branches. You were frozen like a split second. Am I frozen?
Not anymore. You good? I think. Kinda.
Damn. All right, guys, we will make this podcast short. Uh, like, comment. No, I'm just kidding. Do like and comment though. Um, I'll try one more time to say my point. I think branching timelines make more sense than going back and then when you go back, when you come back to your real time, it changed stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not realistic. I think because the present already happened.
Mm.
So when you make a branch, when you go back in the past, whatever you do is making a whole new timeline, and your timeline stays the same. It's just that you're not there anymore in
Mm.
that timeline. Like it's like you disappeared, pretty
Gotcha.
much.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
All the bad stuff's still there. So if you was to go back into your present, technically you wouldn't be going back to your present because you would basically be crossing across the branches at that point.
Interesting.
So that's not even time travel anymore. That's just
Yeah.
multiverse travel at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. I feel like we could just cut it here because we having technical issues which I don't understand.
Yeah, sorry fans. Um,
Yeah.
you know we're going to go down a rabbit hole on this one because time travel is a very complicated topic.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah, but like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you read the books. If you've watched the other two podcasts before this one, let us know which one is your favorite. We do. This last book had a lot of fluff,
Yeah.
and honestly, I got kind of bored with it near the end,
Mm-hmm.
and I struggled to finish. But yeah, love you guys. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.